Today we're looking at It's a Wonderful Life, a 1946 American Christmas film produced and directed by Frank Capra. The film is based on the short story and booklet, The Greatest Gift, a story about a man who has given up his dreams to help others and whose imminent suicide on Christmas Eve brings about the intervention of his guardian angel, who shows George how he touched the lives of others and how different life would be if he hadn't been born. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Christmas and Chill, a fully functioning Christmas podcast where the whole group of mates look at a bunch of movies and we try and figure out if they're good or bad. Tonight we're back with a full house. Everyone's with us this evening. Luke,
can you
Amy,
change
Maddie?
the start, Josh?
Can I change what?
The start to ladies, gentlemen, and all in between, because there's no set two genders.
You're
it's
right.
a spectrum.
You're right. I think I was stuck in the old 1940s mentality.
Hey.
Thank you, because today we watched It's a Wonderful Life, an old-timey movie from the beginning of the century. But before we get into the review, how are we this evening, guys?
Good.
What's everyone been up to?
Luke and I ate Indian food.
What did you have?
We also, to go with the Christmas theme, we put up Amy's tree today.
Yes, I'm
So
very
we
excited.
actually, yeah.
Amy,
she was
what's your colour
ecstatic.
theme?
There's no real theme at my house, to be honest. We kind of just
Oh,
put
okay,
up
that's fair enough.
the same baubles every year.
Yeah, but what colours are they?
Multiple colours. There's like red and there's green and there's gold. Just a rainbow, I reckon.
I like that.
To see her like put up the tree, like we're putting in the little like the branches for the tree because it's not 100% a real tree, but seeing her face light up when just putting in everything and putting stuff on was just a delight. Because I've never
That's
seen
so
Amy
cute.
put up the
Why
tree,
didn't you
so-
record it and send it to me? I would have loved to watch that. That's wholesome content.
Are you a star on top or an angel on top kind of family?
Star on top.
Yes,
Correct
correct.
answer.
Although we used to
Good.
be angel on top.
Yeah, so did we actually.
Really?
Yeah, my
I've
family
always
is.
been a star on top family. Interesting.
Angel is bougie.
Angel's a lot of work. Yeah, I think it's very suggestive as well. Yes, but look, let's jump into it because there is a lot to talk about in today's podcast, and we've got a packed mailbag section, so stay tuned for that. But also, I think this movie is going to cause a bit of discussion, 100%. So let's begin with this. So today we watched It's a Wonderful Life. First impressions, guys. What do you think? Amy, let's start with you. What do you think of the movie?
I think it was a good movie.
Yep.
But whether I'd say I liked it is another thing. I'm not sure if I 100% liked the movie, but I still think it was a good movie, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Luke, what do you think?
I realised when watching this movie, it's probably one of my favourite movies of all time. I didn't really like... The only reason... So, for all the listeners, this is my pick. And it's not... I didn't choose this movie because of nostalgia. I only started watching it about 2-3 years ago. So it's very, very recent. And I've only really watched it once or twice.
Can I ask in like... Because you make up an interesting point because you've mentioned previously on the podcast that a lot of your picks are based on nostalgia. And for this pick not to be based on nostalgia, what makes it one of your favourite movies of all time?
Like, to not derail it to becoming more about the movie portion.
Is it the
of
story?
I think it's the story. I think we've talked in previous podcasts about the idea of Christmas being a redeeming quality, and the time of Christmas, everybody can be redeemed. Everyone can, can live in a happy world if you're just nice to each other. And this movie really cements that idea. I think a Christmas value and a Christmas theme, if you are nice to everyone and you give in kind, you will get, people will be kind for you in return. And I think that's, that I feel that personally, but.
No, look, I think that's an interesting point. Only reason I'm cutting you off is because Maddie was shaking her head vigorously then. Maddie, so I'm going to take a stab and say you have a differing opinion.
I liked the movie. It's good. I can see why it's a classic, but it is not a Christmas movie.
Oh,
I would
okay.
Why would you say it's not a Christmas movie?
Because all of the events in the movie happened prior to Christmas, and the only part of Christmas was after, like, towards the end of the film. It wasn't a theme the whole way through, like the rest of the movies we've been watching.
Yeah. I even Googled. I was like, Christmas movie? And Google said it was a Christmas movie, but I was like, is it really? Like, and I'm not saying I didn't I'm not saying that it's not a good movie because it's not a Christmas movie. I just think, yeah.
Interesting. I actually quite like the movie. I've never seen the movie before. I watched it through. It is very much, it's James Stewart. He's a fantastic actor and definitely carries the film the whole way through. And he's an entertaining man to watch, so it makes the film quite easy to watch, and you can sympathise with him really easily. But I do get what Maddie was saying as well. There is, while the climax of the movie happens at Christmas, I think potentially if you took it out of that time frame and say it happened at Easter, I think the movie would still flow the same. I don't know if Christmas at the end is necessary for the story of friendship and family.
He was not redeemed by Christmas. He was redeemed by the guardian angel showing him what his life would be like if he didn't exist.
However, though, I see where you guys are coming from. Like, looking at the movie, like, I do see, like, it isn't, like, I think I looked at Amy while we were watching it, and I think her and her mum, I think, had the same reaction as what I was thinking. Oh, when is it going to get to the Christmas bit? And
yeah, we were very much of the same mind, I think.
Because I know, like, admittedly I've watched it before, so I knew the Christmas element was already in there. And the reason I think it's a Christmas movie is because I don't think a Christmas movie purely needs to be just about Christmas the whole way through. If it's got the themes of Christmas,
but was it about Christmas?
Matters.
But if you take the end, was it actually about Christmas though, or was the film just about family and friends and being grateful for what you have?
But that's what you do during Christmas, though. You are being grateful.
You're right. It's a theme that's very relevant to Christmas, but it wasn't directly caused because of Christmas. Unlike the other films that we have watched, where, say, like, the change has happened because of Christmas. Like Deck the Halls, for example, Christmas caused the events. It also saved the events. Muppets Christmas Carol, same thing. Polar Express, to an extent, I guess, is all about belief in Christmas. So Christmas was the catalyst for all the stories to eventuate. Whereas this one, the catalyst wasn't so much Christmas, but friendship or family. And I get what you mean. It is like a very Christmassy theme, but I question whether it is a Christmas movie. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, but I think it's an interesting question to ask.
And I guess everyone can have their own personal opinion about what a Christmas movie is.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, yeah,
100%.
So if Luke believes it's a Christmas movie, then he can have it as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like Josh wanted Die Hard on this list.
That's what I was just going to say. I was like, some people would say
Correct.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but then we all say that it's not. But then if that person wants to believe it is, then sure, go ahead. Can't stop you.
Like, I can completely understand why you guys wouldn't see it as a Christmas movie, but I personally, I think one of the major reasons for that being the case, yes, I do agree that the movie doesn't really set itself at the start where it is actually at Christmas, and that's maybe where people get would get confused, because I didn't realize actually how long the movie was. I remember it being a
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Also might be
big movie.
Yeah. even watching it again, I did see it as, this is a really, really long movie, but I feel, though, that is kind of needed for his character to develop over that period of time.
Definitely.
And really thinking about it, like, at the start of the movie, he's not a nice person. He's a bit sexist. He treats everyone like he's better. He could be better than everyone else. And when it gets to the end of the movie, at a time where he has been so generous throughout the whole of his life in the Christmas season, and yet the bad guy of the movie, who you can tell is really despicable, why would you act like the way that Mr. Potter does during Christmas? At the end, this is when it hits the sort of present day. But still, you realize when he's not there, the Christmas vibe's gone anyway. Even if it's not, like, purely about Christmas, like the other movies were, where it is front and center. I think the themes of Christmas and the idea of Christmas comes through more thematically than it does through the visuals of the movie, if you get what I mean. Like, it's not, it's a little bit in the back, but the themes are still there. The Christmas themes are still there, and they're still very present. But yes, I do agree. It does take a while to get there, and maybe it isn't as, like, quote unquote, a Christmas movie like most of the movies we've watched.
But also, I may say one thing, like, I mean, I guess you could watch this movie any time of the year, but also at the same time, because it has that little bit of Christmas theme at the end, then I feel like maybe people would be more inclined to watch it during December.
For sure. Yeah, look, for sure. It's interesting too, because I guess it was, quite early on, 1946, 7, something like that.
46.
And so at a time like that, Christmas movies movies in general are completely different to what we know today. So potentially, that is a Christmas movie, and we are going to watch another movie that predates this later on in the series, Miracle on 34th Street, and that's going to be interesting to dissect, because that's definitely a movie that is Christmas. Like, that's about kind of Santa Claus, but we'll get to that in a couple of episodes. I think that's a really interesting discussion point, and I think there's a lot to unpack on that. But I think if we did that, we'd be here all night. So I think there's some other things that we should talk about. So one thing I did want to talk about is the kind of modern day references that are still kind of getting brought up with It's a Wonderful Life. So The Simpsons is something that actually referenced It's a Wonderful Life in quite a few episodes. And the one scene that I thought of was when they're all at the bank, like in mob form, and they want all their money back, which I think is the teacher's strike episode of Simpsons. And the bank teller is a caricature of James Stewart saying, I don't have your money, it's a Bill's house and a Fred's house. And it's just, there's a lot of references in this movie that I didn't know originated from this point.
Well, also, apparently people have said that Burton and Ernie are named after the policeman and that guy Bert or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, the guys who help them with the honeymoon stuff.
I don't know. Like, I think it's like under debate. Some people yes, and some people come out and say no, it's not.
It could be an inspired.
But then they did reference it in Elmo's Last Christmas. Apparently,
why wasn't that on the list?
Bert and Ernie were walking.
Season 2.
Walking past somewhere, and they had the movie on in the background as if to reference the fact that they may have been named after the characters in that movie.
Wow. I had no idea. That's incredible.
Was that Amy's fun fact for the day, or?
I mean, I have another one, but it can be.
Oh, no. I'll wait for the other.
No. We need that juice later on.
It's a Wonderful Life is like in a lot of film circles, it's regarded as one of the greatest movies of all time. And I can see why, as you said, Josh, there's a lot of references to it, and I can see why a lot of people would want to imitate it in another way, shape, or form.
It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it fell in the public domain as well. So there was a period after the 60s where it actually went into public domain. So anybody could really use it in any films or whatever it may be. So It is a movie that I think hits a lot of people in various different ways, even both during and not during Christmas, which is interesting.
Maddie, you I think you're someone I'm going to ask a question here, because I think it's interesting to get the second side of the coin. So do you think more so that it's a good movie or a long movie? Like, if you had to weigh up those two, is your gut saying, oh, it's good, it's a good movie mainly, but it's also a long movie? Or is it like this is a really long movie, but it's all right? Like, where do you fall?
I wasn't a
in that
fan of the
category?
pacing of the movie. I thought it was a bit slow at times. Like, I would regard myself as someone who likes the classics, but it wasn't my favourite movie. I don't know how to say it.
I'd probably agree with Maddie. Like, I think even just both me and Mum, like at one point, it was almost near, like it's not even close to the end. And Mum was like, how much longer is there? Like...
Yeah, I think that was when they... I think it was around the time where they were getting the Bailey Park and the houses and stuff.
Yes, the real estate park.
I do agree, Maddie. I think it was dragged on for quite a while, but yeah.
I can understand, like, technically, like, why it's a classic, you know what I mean? All the really long shots, like, barely any cuts, like, that's a classic from a film buff standpoint.
Just that really one shot
for, like, a good 5 minutes, like, when they're sitting at the table, him and his dad, I think. Like, the camera didn't move for, like, a good 5 minutes. So, like, I like those shots and I like that storytelling, but I don't know. I'm conflicted because I was going into this thinking it was a Christmas movie. So I think that's why I'm a bit conflicted about it, but that's okay.
I will say, to back up both the question that you were asking, Maddie, Josh, I just did a little bit of research, and the book it's based on a short story called The Greatest Gift.
Yes.
And it's set during Christmas. The last section of the movie where he actually, his life disappears and all this sort of stuff, that's actually the bulk of the story.
Yep.
It's really interesting, though, because, like, I do agree, even though I love the movie, it is long. It is one of those, but it's a lot of movies around that time were really, really just long and, like...
Is it too long to the point where if you wanted to watch it again, it's like a once a year kind of movie? Like, does it hit that point where it's too long?
That's where I feel. Yeah. I think, and
like, if
because,
you cut 40 minutes from it, do you think it would be something that would be regarded a bit like people would love a bit more or more readily watch potentially?
I think it would hurt the movie, to be honest, and only because for me, I really love the story, and yes, the build up is very slow and it takes a lot of time. But it really, for me, it connects you so much to George Bailey to the point when he contemplates committing suicide. I was very much in the realm of, no, just don't do it. Even though I've seen the movie 4 or 5 times, I still don't want him to do it. And at the end of the movie, and Amy saw this.
Mum saw it too.
I started, when he... came... What?
I said Mum saw it too.
Yeah. When he comes back from the world where he didn't exist, I started crying because for me, the amount of emotion going through George Bailey, where he's so grateful for the life that he actually has, and that's the gift that Clarence gives him. And Clarence, the angel, gives him that thing that nobody else could ever give a person, is how much of a life that they could actually, like, they don't realize it, that they're so bogged down in their own life. It gets to the end of, you then realize, oh shit, I have the best life in the world and I would never give this up. That's where I could see the Christmas themes and that sort of stuff coming in personally.
So, on that point, because you bring up a really good point about Clarence the Angel, and we have watched another movie with angels, that being A Muppet's Christmas Carol. My question is, the trope between, I guess, It's a Wonderful Life and A Muppet's Christmas Carol is very similar in that an angel comes to show them what their life could have been or will be. Which movie do you think does it better? Amy, what do you reckon?
He's throwing you under the bus this time. Yeah, I was going to say that wasn't me. Amy, go. You say the question.
Do you want me maybe to...
No, I have something.
Oh, no?
Okay. I think from a Christmas point of view, if you were looking at it from a Christmas point of view, then The Christmas Carol probably did it a lot better than this movie, because obviously that was all based around Christmas or whatever. But, like, yeah, I don't know, maybe...
I think the ghosts in A Christmas Carol, I would assume they would have saw the good, possibly the good in him, in Ebenezer, and wanted to help him along the way. I think they're both so different, but they both have very similar themes. And I would have said Scrooge personally, because I think because he was just a terrible, terrible person, he turns into someone who is grateful to, to give to others, and that's very similar to, Christmas. You give to others, you think of people not as people working for just terrible, terrible people. But, they're both very, very different takes on the same idea. Yeah.
It's interesting. I thought it was just an interesting parallel to bring up, I guess. Another parallel that I would like to point out is that the streak is broken. Well, I mean, the streak starts again, I should say, because there was some singing. There was some singing in this movie. At the end, everyone was singing. So I think so far only one movie we've come across, which was the Home Alone movies, where the characters weren't singing any form of Christmas carol.
Well...
or Christmas song.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure there's singing in tomorrow's movie, so...
Yeah, I think just a little bit, maybe, I think, potentially. I'm not sure. I have a question. So when they're on the bridge and Clarence the Angel jumps in the water, and then Jimmy Stewart's character jumps into the water after them, and they're in the cold water for quite some time. Do you think after they got on land and they're shivering a little bit and he's quite cold, do you reckon because of how cold he was and how exposed he was to the cold and the water that he would be more susceptible to COVID?
Yes, definitely. His immune system would be very fucked up because of that, I think.
Yeah. Although Clarence, though, I don't know, as an angel, I'm not entirely sure if he would be immune to COVID.
What's his deal? What's his beef?
Hey, guys, I have to get a COVID test tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
It's actually not that bad, Maddie. Let's just hope you don't have to wait as long as I did for my results.
How long did you have to wait?
I had to wait almost like a week.
She has a sore throat.
A whole week.
Oh yeah, I left work early and they were like, COVID test. I was like, oh.
But back to Clarence. What's the deal? What's his beef? What's the deal?
What do you mean, what's his beef?
Fine. What's wrong with him?
What's his beef?
He's got no beef.
What's his beef with
Dude's
what?
got beef.
He just wants his fucking wings.
Yeah, I know, exactly. He's so salty. He just wants his wings.
He wasn't
There's got to be an easier way to
lovely.
get the wings. He said that.
Yeah, but remember at the start they said he's not the fastest angel.
That's his beef. He's not as good.
Well, hey, this was a true challenge for him. If he could help someone, not commit suicide and see the best things in their life, then surely he deserves his wings.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, guess what, guys?
What?
Guys, guess what? I think it might be time for a segment. How many Christmas hats out of 10? Josh, I think I'm going to start with you tonight.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 5.
No, you didn't let me ask the question.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, Josh, how many Christmas hats would you give this movie out of 5?
Out of 10.
Let me think.
Out of 10.
Oh, out of 10. He said 5. I got confused.
I'm gonna give it a 5. It's smack bang in the middle for me. I think the story is great. I genuinely. I think the story and the way it's told and the whole messages at the end are really, really strong for me. I think the movie was a bit too long. I think that some of the pacing was off, so not so much just the length, but also some of the pace of some of the scenes was a bit slow. And I also think that based on the fact that I'm looking at this through the scope of being a Christmas list and a Christmas movie kind of event that we're kind of holding, because I didn't feel it was such a strong Christmas movie, it's probably why it's right in the middle for me. It's not the worst on the list. Definitely that's going to be the Polar Express unless we watch some kind of crap. But I thought It's a Wonderful Life was a good story, but lacked a bit in the Christmas side.
So if it had had more Christmas in it, you would have given it a higher rating, so to speak.
Well, I think if Christmas had tied in stronger at the end, it just so happened that it was Christmas time when everything went to town. But if potentially the story was more about that they went, the reason they lost the money was because of Christmas or something, or they accidentally gave it to someone as a gift.
Okay.
If there was some kind of tie to Christmas there that meant Christmas, we saw everything happen, but then also the majority of the film happened at the Christmas side where, we tried to do the right thing by Christmas. Christmas has all gone wrong. I'm an idiot. And then the events play out like normal. I don't know. Just an idea.
Hey, Josh. When?
When what?
When did I ask for your thesis on the movie? I asked you how many Christmas hats. I wanted a number. Thank you. Amy, how many Christmas hats out of 10? Jesus Christ.
I reckon I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10.
I will let you explain a little bit why.
I don't know. I don't want a thesis, Amy. Don't give a bloody thesis.
Yeah, I said a little explanation is fine, not a fucking 3-page thesis. Thank you.
The reason why is I would say that it's a good movie and everything, but yeah, I just don't think it's that Christmassy. Yes, Christmas ends up at the end, but yeah, I'd probably could watch that movie any time, and it would still be, and I would think it's a really good movie and everything. So yeah, I think that's why I wrote it a 4 out of 10.
Very nice. Luke, what about you?
All right. I'm gonna put aside the fact that I'm gonna think of it more as you guys said, more in the Christmas movie type of thing.
No. You should rank it how you want.
Look at through
you
your own
think of
lens.
it.
Yeah, I think we're looking at it through our way.
Don't be influenced by us.
I'm gonna give it. You know what?
I gave Polar Express 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Cool.
And my reasoning for that is, I would put it at 10, but thinking about it now, there are still there's still a few little flaws, just purely because it's, I think, an older film. The Christmas themes, I feel the Christmas themes are really strong, and I don't think it needs to be. Christmas doesn't need to be not ham-fisted. That's a bit strong, but it doesn't need to be extremely prevalent in the story and the characters for it to still have the same themes of Christmas and that sort of goodwill and goodwill towards all men sort of mentality. But also, I'm putting it that high mainly because I have a very emotional attachment to the movie. It hits very close to home, but it's not perfect. It's not my perfect Christmas movie. I think there will be other Christmas movies that would be perfect for me, but this is nearly there. It's so close.
Nice.
What about you, Maddie?
I don't know.
What do you reckon?
I think I'm also going to give it a 3. I think I really went into it thinking, I've never watched this movie before. I'm excited for a Christmas movie. There just wasn't as much Christmas as I wanted. If you dissected the movie and took out all the Christmas parts, it would still work as a regular film. The message and the themes behind it aren't Christmassy enough for me to rank it highly as a Christmas film. But I still liked it as a classic movie. I like James Stewart. I love him in Vertigo and Rear Window. So anything he does, I'm cool with. You know what I mean? But points taken for not being too Christmassy for me. Didn't get me in the spirit of Christmas, as Amy would say.
On the back of this, I have one more question, because now this is technically the 6th movie we've watched. Technically 7, but we'll go with 6. So if we're doing a top 5, out of the 6 movies, we're going to count Home Alone 1 and 2 as one movie for this exercise. What movie misses out on your top 5?
Polar Express, hands down.
Deck the Halls.
I think this movie,
Deck the Halls.
to be honest.
I want to question you, Luke. And this isn't me, like, coming at you or roasting you or anything. I just remember when we were talking about Christmas, like, Deck the Halls, you were saying, like, they kind of, like, pushed Christmas into the movie, and that's why you disliked it. That's how I felt about this movie. Does that make sense? Like, I definitely felt like...
I can see you and Amy would see it, I think, more in the opposite direction, where it's like there's not enough of it for you guys to classify it as like a Christmas movie. I get what you guys mean. Deck the Halls, I feel, is a bit too much. I think that movie could have been a normal comedy if you take it out. And yes, I do see with It's a Wonderful Life as a movie that you could take out all of it and then realize, and that couldn't really be a Christmas movie. But I feel like the themes in It's a Wonderful Life are stronger to the Christmas identity, like themes of Christmas, than Deck the Halls, in my opinion. Anyway.
Fair.
So Maddie, you were saying Polar Express. Luke, you would say Deck the Halls. Amy, was it this movie? It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm definitely on the Polar Express. Can get the fuck out of this list.
That's a good train.
So,
choo-choo, join it.
Yeah, choo-choo, all the way to the bin.
Also, by the way, I found out that there is a Muppet version of It's a Wonderful Life called It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas
Is that the
Movie.
one where the Swedish chef eats Big Bird?
No, I don't know what one that is.
It says here it was made in 2002, and it's a homage to It's a Wonderful Life, and Kermit wishes that he
Does Tiny Timmy jump off the bridge?
Tiny Timmy!
I don't know.
Speaking of Tiny Timmy, Amy, I think it's time for your segment. I don't know what kind of segue that was.
Was it because I said that he was the OT bit of the show?
No, I said I'm referring to you as Tiny Timmy.
Because he has a crutch. Is that it? Is that
because they're both quite small and cute.
Oh, I mean,
and die? But
that's
He doesn't die. He doesn't die. Amy, yes, hit us with your fun fact of Christmas.
Okay, so the first artificial Christmas trees wasn't a tree at all. It was created out of goose feathers that were dyed green.
Really?
Yeah, the first artificial Christmas trees were developed in Germany in the 19th century due to a major continuous deforestation.
Oh.
The feather
That's
trees
terrible.
became increasingly popular during the earliest 20th century and finally made their way to the US.
What year did you say that was?
19th century.
Wow.
Oh, okay. That would make
Because
sense.
of
If
deforestation.
you're,
They were
like,
cutting
not-
down too many trees, so they were like, let's make fake ones out of goose feathers.
Because if it's the 19th century, that means it's the 1800s. So that means it's around the time of like industrialization and all that sort of stuff to make room for factories and all that sort of thing.
Lots of
That would make
geese.
sense. It's cool though.
Yeah, so they
Geese
went
and
from
mace.
They'd
killing
love it in
trees
Canada.
to killing geese.
No, you don't have to kill the geese to get the feathers.
Speaking of killing geese, it looks like we have a DM in our mailbag.
That was a horrible segue.
I don't even
At least
care.
I was going to try
No,
something that
Josh.
closely tied in with the question, but you've just gone from geese to Instagram. I don't know how that works at all.
I don't know either.
Yes. No, I'm glad we have a bit of time because this is one doozy of a question. So we have received this on Instagram. You can check us out on Instagram at Christmas and Chill Podcast. Lots more content going up today. We actually posted a list of all the upcoming movies, so you can check that out and watch along with us at home.
And you can
exactly
follow
right.
too.
And we'd love you to be as involved as possible. So this question comes from Mitchell. Dear Christmas and Chill, I'm really liking the podcast so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next. I thoroughly enjoyed your discussion of the Polar Express, but I think that the movie raises a lot of interesting questions that I was saddened to see you didn't delve into. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I did watch a few choice clips, including the Steven Tyler Elf Jamboree. And I've got to say, best bit of the movie. And I've got to say that I was left wanting to know more about the lore of the intriguing universe. Firstly, I was disappointed to see that you did not explore the numerous similarities between the North Pole and North Korea. There is a definite overlap between the two societies. Both are isolation nations of clearly malnourished people who are forced to worship a supposedly magical leader. One only has to watch the pageantry of the sleigh preparation scene and that of a North Korean parade to see just how alike the two are. I also think there could have been more said about the use of technology in the North Pole. The most notable example of this is Santa's sophisticated global surveillance system that is specifically designed to monitor children that clearly operates using contemporary technology. Is this how Santa's surveillance state has always operated? Has the industrialisation of the North Pole improved the socio-economic conditions of the elven people, or has it led to a crippling loss of identity amongst the elven populace who have become increasingly disconnected from the craft of their labour?
Is there even a question here?
No,
there's like another two paragraphs.
thesis.
Hang on, shut up, guys. There's another 2 paragraphs. What will it take to awaken the class consciousness of the elven people? Finally, and perhaps most importantly, is the Polar Express some kind of ghost train that collects the souls of children who die on Christmas Eve? The train is clearly magical, and it only appears to certain people. Are the children trapped on the train for all eternity, forever doomed to consume hot chocolate? Is Tom Hanks the devil, or a more neutral figure, similar to Chiron the ferryman? If this is a ghost train, why didn't we see little Timmy the Frog on this train? I would check to see if there was any fan fiction about the Polar Express that explore this, but I'm afraid that I would be put on some kind of watch list if I did. Keep up the great work. Love, Mitchell. Thank you very much, Mitchell, for writing in. Luke, do you want to...
I feel like it's only fair that Amy answer all these questions because she...
Luke, be my guest.
Because one of the questions, like he did actually, weirdly enough, one of the questions I thought of was one, if there's the elves, are they all, like, one, do they get paid? That was the thing that I thought of when I was looking at all of when they're in the city. I was like, do they actually get paid? How do they, like, is it in servitude to Santa, or is it like,
They're slaves. I think that's what we established.
I think they're, like, very slaveish.
Yeah. And, like, another thing that I was thinking about, like, was with the surveillance stuff. I'm like, so... they have this sophisticated thing to, go and find people and all that sort of stuff. But, like, wouldn't they... Like, if they know so much about them, why is it only just kids? Couldn't they do that with adults as well? Or is that because that they don't believe in Santa?
Because Santa doesn't give presents to adults, only kids.
Adults don't believe, maybe.
Yeah. You heard it here first from Amy.
You saw at the end when the parents tried to shake the...
Jingle the bells.
It didn't make a sound to them.
Is Santa a communist?
Maybe.
Is Santa a communist? Like Big Red?
But communists don't... Like, they don't get any of the rewards of it, though. In communism, it's like...
Does Santa get rewards?
In communism,
Santa
everyone
is Trump
works and
confirmed,
everybody
has
gets...
COVID.
Everybody works and everybody gets the fruits of everybody's labour. They don't get anything. They make the toys. They don't ever receive a toy. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, but they get the joy of making toys.
I was going to say, they look happy doing it, though.
You've got to point out, this is not just in the Polar Express. This
Yeah.
line,
This is Santa,
like,
full
story
stop, right?
is in
Yeah.
He
everything.
does bring up a good question
It's a very
about
good
the train, because, like, his dad is...
Do you reckon Nicolas Cage would be a better conductor then if it's a
but, like,
ghost train? As he's the
it
ghost rider?
It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of like a Wizard of Oz situation, because his dad is Tom Hanks. So,
Like
yeah.
a hurricane in the Midwest kind of situation?
Yeah, possibly.
This is my impersonation of James Stewart as the conductor of the Polar Express. Hey, champ, how you going? Can I have your ticket, please? I gotta click it.
I don't have your ticket. It's in Bill's house and in Fred's house.
What'd you do with the money? But yeah, like, it could have all been
Elves.
in. It could have all been in the kids' head.
I love you. I love everyone.
Merry Christmas. Jimmy Stewart. I love him. I love him so much. But yes,
Yeah, look, Mitchell, you are right. There was probably a lot of information we didn't delve into, and that was probably because it was a trash dumpster fire trash
with a
trash
lot of,
movie.
with a lot
Yeah.
of roller coasters.
Josh,
Yeah,
your
we
point about
Could
roller coasters
explain
was
to you
so on
about the
point.
roller coasters if that was a question, but it wasn't. So what
Yeah.
can you do?
Yeah, look, definitely we would encourage people to write in. Please give us your thoughts on the movies as well. It doesn't need to be a question per se. You can, give us some kind of socioeconomic criteria based kind of paragraph, and we'll read it out on the podcast. We'll read anything out at this stage. It's
You can even tell us if we're wrong. Who knows?
I don't know. I enjoyed the comparisons between North Korea and the North Pole personally. It's given me a lot to think about, especially when we start watching the Santa Claus trilogy. That's going to be
That's going to be a day of also drinking, because I'm not
It's
going to
gonna
be
be
able to see all
interesting.
those movies without a drink in my hand.
yeah.
Excuse
Oh,
me,
yeah.
those movies are wonderful.
In the
Tim
first
Allen
one,
is
yes,
a
but the
treasure.
second one, hell no. But that's
Yeah.
The third
we're
one is the
getting off.
best.
Surely we drink to pay homage to Tim Allen's
Yikes.
drinking habit.
anyway. That's
Let's
later
get
on in the
buzzed
series.
for Buzz.
Yeah. Guys, does anyone else, before I start plugging all the socials, does anyone else have anything else they'd like to say or bring up before we give it a wrap?
Yes, tomorrow we'll be watching Amy's Pick, Nativity.
I've never watched
Yes.
it either.
Yes.
I've never watched
Me
Nativity.
neither.
Never watched it.
Do you know who's the lead?
It was actually a movie that I found. I think it was last year. So it has
okay.
nothing to do with nostalgia or
Who's
anything.
in it, Amy? Who's the main characters?
I actually can't remember.
Is it Martin Freeman?
I thought it was David Tennant.
I don't know.
Ooh, David
I think
Tennant.
that's number two.
Okay, we've got a lot to look forward to then. Some English guy.
David Tennant. I think it's Martin Freeman. I think it's Tim, not Jim. Yes, but look, thank you so much for listening, guys. You can catch us at all of our socials. So on our Instagram page at Christmas and Chill Podcast. If you have questions for our mailbag, you just want to say hi, you want to give us free things, send us an email. Mailbag.
Who knows? We might make enough money to
gmail.com.
maybe make some merch or something. That's a fair way. But maybe that's season
That's
2.
a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah.
It would
Maybe
be
that's
good.
season 2.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Imagine some merch. What would if we were going to
No,
put
we
if
should
we were going
make,
to put a
like,
slogan
Christmas
on a
hats.
shirt? What would we put on the shirt?
No. We should make a Christmas hat, and what it says on there is how many Christmas hats out of 10 would you rate
Oh,
this
see,
movie?
that's pretty good.
Oh my God, I'm going to
That's pretty good.
immediately. Stay tuned. There will be merch.
That's actually
That's
really
so
good.
good. Wow, the genius of the podcast right here.
Entrepreneurs, here we come.
You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We now also have YouTube. So if you don't like listening to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can listen to our podcast on YouTube as well.
Thing just before
Everything
we-
goes up.
If we get
character.
enough likes and comments. Oh, no, I was going to say, if we get enough likes and comments, we should start recording these
Yeah.
videos of us chatting and then post
Yeah,
that.
we're currently on
'Cause
Skype,
we have fun
like
on here.
looking at each
It's
other
just
as
me,
we
you-
do
We are
this.
Skyping, so
A quick
Definitely we
thing.
could be
We've been
recording
doing
this.
this every episode, and we completely forgot who plays what character in the movie.
oh, of course.
Who plays who?
Let's just say Luke is James Stewart's character because he
that's
relates
all right.
the most
Yeah.
to him.
That's
I feel
fair.
like
I
Amy is
also
Clarence.
have massive amounts of
I
regret.
would like to be Martini.
Yes, you are. Amy, you can be Clarence because you're the guardian angel.
Yes.
You're literally
yes.
called literal
I'll take
angel
that
in
one.
our group chat. So you are the angel. I feel like I'm probably one of the kids.
You can be the
You're
little
the kid
one that
that's
plays
you're the
the
girl
piano.
that cries.
The one
You're
that
the
gets
girl
sick.
that cries when she gets told off.
Yes, I am because I'm so annoying, and then I get told
I
off,
was
and then
gonna
I cry.
I was gonna be
That is
nice.
me.
I was gonna be nice and give her the one. She was the girl that got sick, and then be like, "Hey, an angel makes its wings when a bell rings."
Oh, yeah.
Or we could all just be the kids.
But also,
knows?
I'm the girl that's sick because I have to get a COVID test at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So see you later, fam.
Well, look, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Come back tomorrow. We'll be watching Nativity. We'll chat to you then. Have a great night.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.